Greetings, YouTube. Happy Valentine's Day once again. I am in between running to get dinner and finishing up my normal routine of grading, and I was sent this, thankfully, by multiple users in the Line app in the past 24 hours, and then I myself unlocked it, about 9 hours ago from the time of recording this, just by completing a path, any initial path, including the boss of the final part of the first, I guess you want to say, chapter? Basically, to sum up how you activate this, when you go to the Captain Marvel's Combat Clash, and this is very much in line with everything that we've seen in the past with other similar events. If you clear the boss, even if it's just one path of the final chapter of this offer pops up for 24 hours. What I enjoy about these kind of offers is that, unlike other offers, you control when you trigger it. So what you're about to see, I think anybody can have access to, whether it's uncollected or non-uncollected. And so if it is something that's enticing to you and you're like a free-to-play player, you can hoard units for a couple weeks because, as we know, this event's going to last another 19 days. So it's not like you have to worry about throwing all your units at it at once. Now, there are going to be a lot of people who see the title of this video, which I think I'm just going to simply title, "Is the Captain's Cash Worth It?" And they're going to say, no, of course not. Stupid question. Because if you're someone like me who doesn't need Tier 4 basics, you've got an overflow of Tier 4 class Catalyst crystals, and Tier 1 alphas not an issue, level 3 revives or whatever, then, of course, this is something that you're just going to exit out and think, this is another one of those dumb deals from Kabam. But what I learned last time is that if I am someone who automatically dismisses something like this because of the position that I'm in the game, I am as elitist as the elites that I sometimes mock in my videos that put their nose up at anyone that cares about 4 stars because clearly now with 6 stars they're irrelevant, even though you can still take a maxed out 4-star Scarlet Witch and do crazy awesome damage against 6 stars. And I can't tell you how many times I have told people, hey, you can have your 6-star King Groot or your 6-star Deadpool X-Force or your 6-star Beast. I'll have my rank 5 4-star Wolverine or Scarlet Witch, etc. And we'll see who has the more fun playing this game. So, I don't want to sound like that when I'm talking about this. So, I'm going to take the people like myself who have mostly top-ranked 5 stars and even are looking to rank to 6 stars out of this because this deal is not for you and it's clearly, obviously, not a good deal for you. Who this is for are the people who've been playing the game between 1 and 2 years. Maybe your roster is either approaching 100,000 rating or you're in between 100 and 200,000. You're maybe somebody who doesn't do map 5 yet in Alliance Quest. You're mostly doing map 3, maybe some map 4, and you're still having a hard time getting Tier 4 class Catalyst, especially if you're somebody who has not yet ranked up many, if any, 4 stars to rank 5, which is a significant amount of the community. Another thing that people forget who've been playing this game for so long is there's a lot of people who just started playing the past year, and even though you can get 4 stars and 5 stars easily, compared to what it was before, it's still hard to get rank up items, even with the Glory Store changes, for a lot of summoners. And those people often get ignored in these kind of offer reviews. So that stops today. This is who I am talking to for this one. So what I've done, YouTube, is I have mathematically calculated each category of this. And I'm going to talk about the minimum value and the maximum value of this because the main prize, of course, is the Legendary Clash Crystal, which is a pure RNG gamble, as all Legendary Clash Crystals are, because Legendary is a Legendary gamble that connotates a 20% chance or a 1 out of 5 drop rate chance for a 5-star, but most people are going to get a 4-star from this. And then on top of that, like most of these crystals, there are great champs and there are terrible champs. Would you pay 3,000 units for a 5-star Cyclops? I sure as heck wouldn't. Or a 5-star Iron Fist? No. What about a 5-star The Champion? Probably. Electro? Probably. Hulk Ragnarok? Absolutely. Korg for defense? Sure. Red Hulk? Probably not. Rocket Raccoon? Maybe. Sentry? Maybe. Storm? Maybe. Taskmaster? Depends if you like Taskmaster. Personally, I wouldn't Venom, absolutely. X-23, I think you really should. Angela, sure. Archangel, I think Archangel personally is the best prize in this. Even though you've got some really good nominations like Black Widow, especially if you've got a bunch of skill 6 stones you can throw into her. Captain Marvel is one of my favorite champs, even though I think she could use a buff to make her even better, as the Marvel Universe should indicate. Carnage has been way better since the buff. I wouldn't be shocked if somebody got an Electro. Get the pun. And then Gwenpool is a champion that I think is not at the very top as she was, say, a year ago, but still one of the best skill champions for sure. So if you get a 4-star of any of those, I think that legendary crystal has about a 500 unit value for you. If you get the worst of the worst 5 stars, if you get a Cyclops blue team, I think that has about a 1,500 unit value, realistically, just objectively. And if you get one of the top, Archangel, even like a Black Widow or a Captain Marvel or an Angela, I think that's worth 3,000 units by itself. Just think of how many units some people will spend grinding in the arena, not to mention the hours it takes to get a 5-star to their collection, even if it is like a Captain Marvel. Now, on top of that, I have kind of had to give myself in the position of somebody who doesn't have easily accessible ways to get these resources a value that is different than what I value it as a 3-year plus player of this game. I think tier 4 basics for people who can't get them, they're worth at least 100 units, a minimum of 500 units worth of value for 5 tier 4 basics. And then if you can't get tier 4 class catalyst crystals and you're just trying to get those fragments which take so long, I mean, really it's a minimum of 300 units, but realistically it's more like 500 units a piece worth of value. So it's anywhere from 900 to 1,500 units worth of value for 3 tier 4 class catalyst crystals. And yes, it's the 1 out of 6 RNG, so if you're looking for only one specific class, it's going to not be so easy. But at the same time, if you need all classes, you can't really go wrong with having fully formed tier 4 class catalysts in your disposable. Tier 1 alphas, I still think, are valued at least 50 units apiece, but for newer players, even 100, 500 units. If you've got a 5-star, you need to rank up. It's going to take 5 tier 1 alphas, so it's a minimum of 250 units, max about 500 for those. Level 3 revives and level 3 team revives are fascinating because you cannot buy them in the unit store. You can only get level 2s of those. We know they're 40 units and 100 units apiece, and so I think a level 3 revive is worth at least 60 units, and 5 of them is 300 units worth of value. And then the level 3 team potions, these things are amazing. 60% back. I'm telling you what, these have tremendous value, especially for those of you who are looking to do what this is mainly trying to sell you on, and that's revive your champions in what inevitably is going to need to be revived champions for the final part of this money grab quest, which I will do a separate video on, maybe release it at midnight before I go to bed, who knows, about why it's so hard and kind of Kabam's thinking behind it, and then how the community is reacting, because I've got a lot of negative response to how difficult it is, but we've got to remember that the rewards are so much better than they used to be, so it's kind of an even trade-off in my head, even though I'm sure some people aren't going to appreciate that feedback because it's not critical enough, but we'll talk about it here in a few hours. But I'm going to say those level 3 team revives, the 5 of them, are realistically worth at least 200 units apiece or 1,000 units total. That is the main guaranteed value of this deal, and I love talking about guaranteed value versus the crystal gambles that we often see so much. And then the greater attack boost, about 50 units apiece, 250 units total. So if you're doing the math, this is worth, even if you get the worst 4-star, a minimum of 3,700 units. But if you get a great 5-star or even the worst 5-star, I think it's worth at least, about 5,000 to 6,200 units. And then from there, you've just got to gauge yourself. Is it worth spending that? I tell you this, we have seen so many terrible trash unit deals in 2019 that this is far better than the majority of hot, steaming garbage that's popped in our inbox, especially when it comes to just trying to sell you a couple thousand units for one tier 4 class catalyst crystal, or just a couple tier 4 basics, or a couple tier 1 alphas. I mean, it's really been a joke. So in comparison, this is better than those. Is it amazing value? No. I still think that for the summoners that this is targeted at, it's a B- to a B. but that's a lot more generous than I would have given when I had that elitist mentality at this, and I was just going to say, oh, it's an F, it's irrelevant, it's Kabam trying to steal your units again. Not for everybody. And so I'm trying to do a better job, as I always try to improve on my channel, of thinking about the users that have only played the game for 6 months or a year, or even if you've been playing for a couple years. If you don't have a chance to play it, but maybe half an hour to an hour a day, maybe you're not even in an alliance, something like this is relevant. And so I don't want to discount the community that this is targeted at just because I personally have no interest in buying it. And so I hope that this analysis has helped you make an informed decision. If you are interested in it and you haven't had it pop up yet, wait to do the challenge until you have the unit saved up so you don't have to worry about spending any money. And if you're a free-to-play player, that's not even an option. So wait to make sure you have 3,000 units and then go for it. Let me know if you get this and you get a 5-star. Maybe I'll add it to my weekly luck compilation video. But otherwise, thanks for watching this. Have a great day. And for that matter, have a fantastic Valentine's Day. If you're watching this from across the pond, your Valentine's Day just ended. So I hope you had a good one as well.